Pokémon Legends ZA just released, so I'll be playing 100 hours to 100% the game. Everything including the amazing story, the amazing post-game, discovering all the new Mega Evolutions, and experiencing the new battle mechanics. So sit back and enjoy the full 100-hour experience of Pokémon Legends ZA. We first get an option to choose our appearance. Why do they all look the same except with different hair and skin color and different head angles? Then we get straight into a cutscene with the Prism Tower that looks somewhat controlled and some type of mysterious vibe around Lumio City. 3 characters suddenly appear in front of Lumios as well as the long-forgotten Eternal Floette. And suddenly, the Prism Tower starts glowing, brighter than ever. Could this mean, hey, this scenic ride really reminds me of old Animal Crossing. Where's my 9 3/4 train platform? I'm trying to go to Hogwarts. After we exit the train station, we get to enjoy the view of Lumio City and the beautiful Prism Tower with no clouds blocking the view. Until we are coincidentally stopped by a trainer who has 3 starters and politely asks you to record an advertisement segment for her job. Also, did I just see that right? Was that Gallade and Gardevoir in the ballroom together in an advertisement? Suddenly, we are stopped by some Lumio City propaganda by this old lady. I just want to see Gardevoir and Gallade dancing again. After the propaganda speech was over, this little Pancham rat took my travel bag and booked it across Lumio City. Me and this random girl finally managed to catch up to the Pancham, and the original owners of this stealing Pancham reveal themselves. And finally, we get introduced to each other on a first name basis. This is Tawny. And now, one of the most important parts of the Pokemon game, choosing your starter Pokemon. Comment down below what starter you think I chose and what choice you made in your playthrough. After some careful consideration, I decided to give some love to my boy Chikorita, and we head straight into a battle. My first experience with the new Legends ZA battle mechanic. I didn't really like the battle mechanic for my first battle because it felt too linear. It felt like my opponent hit, I hit, my opponent hit, I hit, and there wasn't any dodging mechanics or anything that came with it. After the loss, the owner and Pancham scrambled off in a hurry, but not before Pancham shot one last longing look at that bag, seriously considering a round 2 of theft. All of a sudden, night hits, and something called a battle zone is activated. Battle zones pop up in small sectors of Lumios in the night where strong trainers exist. When trying to exit the battle zone safely, a waitress suddenly appears out of nowhere, but thankfully I beat her relatively easily and quickly, while also moonwalking on her. Right as Tawny and I were about to exit the battle zone, a sudden worry flashed on Tawny's face. 3 battle zone members stopping the exit right in our track. Suddenly, an Eternal Floette appears out of nowhere and uses his signature move, Light of Ruin, straight at the 3 battle zone members, sending them scurrying away out of fear. After that whole debacle, Tawny takes me to our workplace, Hotel Z, and to my surprise, as we enter, we see AZ as the receptionist. Hey, what's that slimy thing on the ground? After chatting it up with the 9-foot beast, he believes that destiny brought us together and gives me a key to one of the hotel rooms for use. He really trusts people very easily, huh? After wandering through Hotel Z and taking in its stunning artwork, I sink into bed and sleep like a king, exhausted and satisfied from the day's adventure. And before my beauty sleep gets ruined by some banging outside my door, only to realize it was Tawny ruining my beauty sleep. My personal concierge, Tawny, led me up to the rooftop to take in the view, and Tawny finally gives me a warm welcome to Lumios, as we appreciate the beautiful view from Hotel Z. Now finally I can rest easy. After a nice night of rest, we get ready, wake up, just to see Tawny waiting downstairs for me. Tawny mentions that there's a big competition that takes place in Lumio City called the Battle Royale. The goal is to climb from the lowest rank Z to the highest rank A by battling trainers within the battle zone to earn your upgrade ticket to the next rank. As Tawny is teaching me the ropes of how to roll in this game, a new Team MZ member shows up. Welcome Lita. She's a dancer as well as a Pokemon trainer. Finally, after so much dialogue, I can exit the hotel, only to be stopped by Tawny for a Pokemon battle. After dismantling both of her 2 starter Pokemon with the superior starter Chikorita, I'm able to freely roam the area, right? Nope. You gotta learn how to smash rocks, climb up ladders, learn how to use the Pokemon Center, and the Pokedex. Now surely we're done with the tutorial here now, right? Nope. Gotta learn how to catch Pokemon and learn about the wild zones. The green lights with the pentagon numbers indicate that you're entering a boundary of a wild zone. I get to learn the catching mechanics, and the catching tutorial is exactly the same as Legends Arceus catching. Tawny gives me a small challenge. Catch 5 unique Pokemon and head into the research lab right across Wild Zone 1. After successfully catching 5 Pokemon and making it to the other side of the Wild Zone 1 in one piece, I walk into the research lab. Upon exiting the elevator to the professor's office, I'm welcomed by the professor cursing up a storm. Reluctant to go, I brace myself for the worst that could happen, and eventually, after one deep breath, I go. As I walk into frame, the professor suddenly transforms into an absolute sweetheart. Because I caught 5 Pokemon, the professor, Mabel, lets me know about her research, and how as you complete her research, you'll gain valuable rewards such as TMs, items, and even a shiny charm. Thanks for the alley-oop, Tawny. As we walk out of the research facility, I'm met with someone new. From the looks of it, he does look like someone from Team MZ because of the logo on his shirt. He introduces himself as Naveen, and within seconds, he upgrades my outfit by giving me a top hat. Stuck in my old ways of Pokemon thinking, I managed to struggle with using Rock Smash for too goddamn long, but eventually I finally get it. Tawny calls me back to Hotel Z, but not before I explore the entirety of Wild Zone 1 and the surrounding area. Lumiose turns nighttime and the battle zones activate, starting our first ever battle zone with the Team MZ members. After quickly grinding through 1000 points in the battle zone, we are first met with our first trainer for a rank up, Zach. Zach seems like a very cool guy, but when he starts talking, he ends up being very arrogant, even though he's lost 100 rank Z matches, with even Tawny roasting him. Just like the other 100 trainers who bested Zach, we pretty easily sweep through his team, ranking ourselves up to rank Y. After a battle with Zach, our trainer comes to congratulate us on our victory. It's none other than the detective Emma. Hold up, Emma seems very familiar. Emma is a reliable detective in Lumiose who's been working closely with Tawny to find the person she's been looking for. Because our work here is done, sweeping through Zach's team, Tawny and I head back to Hotel ZA, and Tawny voluntarily cooks food for Team MZ and the team. What is this monstrosity? Croissant curry? Two things that are not supposed to go together. And that is the correct opinion, Naveen, because he refuses to eat this monstrosity. I go to sleep, and quickly, morning hits. The morning hits, and Naveen and Tawny are waiting patiently for me at the lobby. Then, I get hit with the realization. I haven't been to the biggest attraction of Lumiose City, the Prism Tower. So Tawny and I go on a little date and make our way to the Prism Tower, only to be stopped by 3 construction workers right outside of Hotel Z. Are they worshippers of someone? I mean, just look at their tank tops. These 3 workers are from the Rakeen Construction and purposely set colorful screws on courses all around Lumiose to add a bit more adventure for anyone who's feeling it. Colorful screws can be redeemed at the Rakeen Construction for very useful rewards like increase the amount of experience your Pokemon gets, increase the prize money your Pokemon gets, increase the number of Mega Shards you get after smashing crystals, makes you less likely to black out when taking damage, or have a higher chance of catching Pokemon. After the people from Rakeen Construction leave, Tawny leads me to a very special route, straight across the rooftops. They call me a scout regiment back in the day. While on the rooftops, there were so many Mega Crystals laying on the ground. Not exactly what they do at this point, but I break them because I'm a completionist and Funnelly and I will take over the world with these. As we continue on our way to the Prism Tower through the rooftops, Tawny is not allowing me to go anywhere, just like a helicopter parent. So I reluctantly make my way over to the new Wild Zone 2 and catch every Pokemon I find there. After some more dilly-dallying, I reconnect with Tawny and have a nice little coffee chit-chat at the Nouveau Cafe. And before this security guard looking guy interrupts our date, meet Vinny. He is the CEO secretary in Kisado Incorporated, which will be very useful information later. I get baited by Tawny by making it all the way out to Prison Tower, only to go to Emma's detective agency for Tawny's unknown situation. But we're stopped and intrigued by the loud noises from the north side of the district. It looks to me like some type of propaganda again. This group of people wants Pokemon wild or caught and people to be free roaming, instead of Pokemon being stuck in their wild zone. Then suddenly, I get challenged to a battle by one of the disciples, Josie, the 5th strongest disciple. Hold up, if there are 5 disciples here, wouldn't that just make you the weakest? It's like in League of Legends when you say you came in 2nd place, but there are only 2 teams. I easily defeat Jose, and she is gushing over that I may be rank H or even rank G. You really believe that while I carry a level 11 Chikorita or even a level 8 Rolls? And now the leader of this propaganda mission, Ivor, talks about some hidden potential in me, then walks off with the rest of his disciples. Now, finally for some peace and quiet. I make my way into Wild Zone Area 3 and start catching all the Pokemon in there. Litleo, Skidoo, and hold up, is it a shiny Esper? I just got a full out shiny this early in the game by just playing through the game. And lastly, Pikachu. These Pikachu skin colors look like they've been in California tanning for a week straight. Tawny and I finally make it to the Looker Bravo, and lo and behold, there's Emma. And not even having time to settle down, Emma asked me to help her with 3 side missions. The first mission is to help retrieve an old lady's lost ring in the cemetery because a mischievous Sableye spotted its sparkle and decided it's playtime. The second side mission is arguably the best side mission in all of Pokemon. This lady asked for a Pikachu in exchange for a Heracross. A Heracross this early? A Pokemon with 125 base attacking stat? Will gladly take that for a measly Thunderstone. But this isn't just any Heracross. Meet Boys, one of the best Pokemon to use in Legends ZA. And finally, the last mission. The man asked me to beat up an Alpha Bunnelby because his own Bunnelby couldn't handle it. Finally, we make our way back to Looker, and Tawny and Emma wrap up the discussion. I wonder what this whole secret is about. Suddenly, my Rotom phone rings and we get our next promotion match, from X to Y, against some girl called Yvonne. While waiting for night to fall, I catch all the Pokemon from the new Wild Zones 5 and 6, while also doing a few side quests. Right as night falls, I head straight into the battle zone. In the battle zone, there are cards on the ground, which are small challenges that will reward you with Pokédollars and more points towards the challenger ticket. I easily sweep through the battle zone thanks to my trusty boys, and fight my promotion match trainer Yvonne. Though Yvonne has a Vivillon, a flying type Pokemon 4 times weak against boys, it was no match for my Heracross and I successfully reached rank X. Tawny and I safely make it back to the hotel, and the next day our next mission is set. Reach rank W. But I wasn't let off to lose that easily. Naveen wanted to battle me to see if I was a legit rank X trainer. After dismantling his whole team, I was notified by my next opponent, Zavi. While waiting for nighttime, I do some more exploring around Lumio City, struggling over the thin scaffolding to get my second colorful screw, and more side quests, like giving this girl a skidoo for her perfume, or even enjoying a relaxing Badoo contest, which instantly reminds me of the bug catching contest from the Heart Gold Soul Silver game. All I'm saying is my Badoo won the best of Badoo contest. You get a gold star Badoo. Now you stay in this little PC machine forever. The last side quest I stumbled upon was to find all flip baby forms, which seems harder than it looks. For context, I did this mission 2 or 3 days after release, and there weren't any really accurate sources about where to find all 5 of the baby forms, and I ended up walking mindlessly around Lumios for an hour, searching every crevice, and finally finding all the forms. All that searching and hard work for 1,500 Pokédollars and 1 rare candy. Shortly after, night rolls around, and with my trusty old boys sweeping through the entire battle zone, we easily snatch our challenger ticket. As I'm making my way over to challenge Zavi, I see a feisty little Chespin thinking it can fight a taxi car, but it looks like this Chespin wasn't battling spirits. After defeating Chespin many times over with none other than boys, Chespin deems me worthy as a trainer, and I get gifted a free Chespin. Yeah, Chespin, you're staying right in the box alongside my shiny Esper and the award-winning Badoo. The rank X battle went fairly easily thanks to my boys. Boys did actually go down this time to a Furfrou, but I don't blame him. Boys was probably holding back after seeing that cute dog. I rank up to rank W, and as a reward, Tawny cooks me with another croissant curry. The next day, as Lita leaves for dance practice, she forgets her belongings, or as the game calls it, Lita's things, as well as my next main mission being set. Reach rank 3. Quickly scurry to catch up to Lita to drop off Lita's things to none other than Lita. And when I finally catch up to her, she suddenly requests me to a battle, with none other than her signature Clauncher, Vanillite, and Staryu. Thankfully, with my Bayleaf and my boys, I'm able to take them down very easily. As I'm waiting for sun to set, I tackle some more side quests, like giving Slurpuff these delicious macaroons. Not just 1 plate, but 4 plates and a drink? Goddamn, can you save some for me, Slurpuff? Or even helping Dude finding a shiny Mareep, because somehow they can't tell it apart from a normal Mareep, even though its shiny is bright purple. While roaming around Lumios, I get a call from Maple, begging me to come back to the Professor's lab to pick one of the 3 Kanto starters to keep. I decide to replace Gyarados for Squirtle, instead of my fire type for Talonflame, because if I chose Charmander, I would still have 2 flying types on my team. As the sun was setting, I encountered an old lady with a lone old cute Fennekin. The Fennekin was sick, so I needed to find a revitalized twig, which for some reason was in a sewer of all places. And after I healed the Fennekin, my next opponent for the ZA Royale has been announced, Rintaro. While waiting for night to fall, I do more side missions and explore the rooftop of the houses. Today's special for side missions is beating Pokemon up with my Heracross, boys. Also, I'm pretty sure it's pronounced Bois, the French way of pronouncing it, because it means wood or forest, and we're playing in Lumios, which is located in France, but alas. During the night, I encounter a really cool side quest in none other than the Lumios Museum. This middle-aged couple lost their 12 speepers in the museum and asked me to find them all. This was such a great side mission because it forces the player to explore the entire museum and see what the museum has in store. On the first floor, we got callbacks to X and Y Laver City and the fireworks festival area with Shauna, and on the second floor, there are countless references to Legends Arceus, even including what the main characters wear. Getting even more distracted from the main mission, we have one last side mission for the night, but this one was extremely infuriating because there's a time limit for it. We have to clear 3 obstacle courses under a certain time limit, but some of these beams are too damn thin that you fall off very easily, instantly failing the course. After multiple attempts of struggling, I finally completed. But in the end, it was all worth it because I got a cute little Froakie. And now, finally, I enter the battle zone for my next challenger ticket. But this time, I didn't use boys. I instead used my newly obtained Firewater Grasscore with Wartortle, Fletchinder, and Bayleaf, because they deserve the spotlight too. I easily dismantled Rintaro, given he has 3 Unova monkeys, so I switched in my own Firewater Grasscore to counter each monkey. And there it is, I reached rank V. As I'm leaving the battling venue, I'm greeted none other than a dog, the Zygarde 10% form. He's a legendary Pokemon, and I wonder if this is a coincidence or not. Being the nice trainer I am, I started chasing the Zygarde form, thinking the dog needed to burn off some energy, only to be surprised that it led me somewhere else. Zygarde takes a huge 20-foot leap up to the rooftops, and lo and behold, there's an injured Absol. What does Zygarde want from me exactly? Help it? Fight it? Catch it? Who knows? Until AZ notifies us that there is a rogue Mega Evolution Pokemon and hands me a Lucario to use for this fight. Okay, so apparently this fight is supposed to be very easy, but it was a super big struggle for me, almost wiping out on multiple occasions. After defeating the rogue Pokemon Absol, Emma comes on by to explain the situation. For the longest time, Mega Evolution can only be used between trainer and Pokemon, but in Lumios now, there have been a ton of Pokemon that have been Mega Evolving on their own without a trainer, and this is known as Rogue Mega Evolution. Following the unveiling of a huge secret in Lumios, it was time for a nice big rest. Then, in the morning, Toddy and I go on a detective mission to find more information about this so-called Rogue Mega Evolution. And we run over to Quesadico Incorporated to meet with none other than Vinny. Vinny hits us with a history lesson. Quesado Incorporated was responsible for the city redevelopment plans, meaning they're responsible for marking the wild zone areas. However, problems arose because more and more rogue Mega Evolutions came about in Lumios. The one we saw yesterday, Absol, is one that slipped past our team because with the rapid increase of the rogue Mega Evolutions in Lumios, Quesadico does not have enough human resources to throw out these rogue Mega Evolutions anymore. And so, Quesadico introduced the ZA Royale, and the end goal was to provide the highest ranked player with Mega Rings and help them eliminate the rogue Mega Evolutions. And now, with Vinny's admin powers, I get notified that I get a promotion match from rank V to rank F, and we fight none other than Vinny. It's crazy to think that in one promotion match I can go up 16 rank, but for the progression of the story, it makes sense to make the game less grindy. While waiting for nighttime to gain a challenger ticket, I claim a bunch of TMs from Mabel's research, optimize some movesets, and do some more side quests, like the one where I had to take troubleshooters away from the cafe because it was affecting the business, and send them to their home, straight to the trash. Nighttime hits, and I charge straight into the battle zone, defeating trainers with my full team instead of just Heracross, because the rest of my team finally caught up to the strength of boys. Now it is time to fight my biggest challenge yet, Vinny. Vinny first sends out a Houndoom, and it's level 30? I send out my level 26 Wartortle, and even though I have a type advantage, I'm still massively struggling because of the level difference as well as Houndoom being fully evolved. Then Vinny sends out a Sharpedo, but that's free food for boys, knocking it out with one pin missile. And same for Baniri, with boys taking it out with Brick Break. Lastly, Vinny sends out a Drampa, and then Mega evolves? It looks very cool, probably one of my favorite mecha designs in Legends ZA, though I do think it shouldn't have kept its original typing of normal and dragon, and instead went with electric and dragon or electric and normal. And now it was time to reveal my mega evolution, Mega Gardevoir, which easily dismantled the Drampa with a Dazzling Gleam and a Psybeam. And just like that, I go from rank B straight up to rank H, and Tawny too. I guess she's pretty cool. After our battles, we head straight into the Quesadico building, and goddamn does this interior look beautiful. And Vinny asked Team MC to help Quesadico with their Rogue Mega Evolution problem. Well, I had no other choice other than to say yes. I thought this Rogue Mega Evolution fiasco was gonna be a one-time occurrence, but oh boy was I wrong. Tawny and I briefly met up with Naveen at the Nouveau Cafe, and Naveen reveals his unwavering love for Canary, the popular streamer. However, in the midst of the conversation, we get the boss call from Vinny. There have been some Rogue Mega Evolutions spotted, so all three of us head back to Hotel ZA, and Team MZ makes a plan on how to defeat these three Rogue Mega Evolution: Slowbro, Camerupt, and Victory Bell. As I walk out of the meeting dazed that I have to carry most of the weight for all three of the Rogue Mega Evolution, Easy approaches me and gives me a Megastone from my beloved Meganium, and mellows positive affirmation about how I am the one to save Lumiose. I head over to the first Mega Evolution, Slowbro, and he's straight up giving us the "I've been waiting for you" vibe, back turned and everything, before slowly turning around. Rogue Mega Slowbro was actually quite tough, because it's the first actual Rogue Mega Evolution that I fought. You think that Absol would be able to easily handle Slowbro, but no. Once those whirlpools come out, it was over for Absol and his partner in crime, Gardevoir. And the responsibility of beating the Mega Slowbro was handed down to none other than Boys and Bayleaf itself, hammering the Slowbro down slowly with Giga Drains and Pin Missiles. The fight finally concluded, I received the Slowbroite, and I thought it would just be over, but none other than Zygarde shadowed over our Rogue fight. Realizing that I was a tad bit underleveled without even having a Meganium or Blastoise, I quickly grind in the battle zone for a bit and roam around in the new wild zones, catching all the Pokemon I can while leveling Bayleaf and Wartortle up so it can evolve into Meganium and Blastoise. Because of the chat's recommendation, during hour 10, I do some off-screen grinding to make my life easier in the future. There are two things I do. I catch all the Pokemon up until Zone 10, and evolve all the Pokemon I have so I can finish my Pokedex slowly and finish my living dex in this game. Secondly, get all the colorful screws. You find these colorful screws all around the Lumiose map. Some are easier to get, and some are absolutely impossible to get until later in the game. Like, why do you have to stand on a balance beam and just pray that I don't fall straight to my demise? But little does Ian know, almost a third of these colorful screws were impossible to get because he hadn't unlocked the feature for them yet. Still, he pushed on, trying his best to collect them all. I continued my off-screen grinding by leveling up Pokemon while also getting the Challenger ticket, hitting two birds with one stone. I managed to evolve Gabite into Garchomp, Binacle into Barbaracle, Quilladin into Chestnut, Spinarak into Ariados, and many more. We finally fight the next Rogue Mega Evolution. I dismantled Rogue Mega Camera pretty easily thanks to its 4x weakness to water, and my Gyarados spamming Waterfall. My only question is, what does Lita think she's doing with her cute little Staryu? Does she think she's gonna beat a Rogue Mega Evolution, let alone a Mega Evolution with a Staryu? Even a 4x super effective water gun is tickling this camera up. Before I head straight to Victory Bell, I make a quick pit stop at Quesadico and buy none other than Boys his ever-deserving Mega Evolution Stone. For the last Rogue Mega Evolution of the night, we reconnect with Naveen to take down Mega Victory Bell, which honestly kinda looks like a potion from Legend of Zelda. With our newfound Mega Heracross, we easily take down Rogue Mega Victory Bell thanks to Mega Horn from Heracross while dodging its sludge, obtaining the Victory Bell Light. Now our job is done, and Team MZ will reconvene at the Hotel Z to enjoy a long rest. As I'm right near the entrance of Hotel Z, Zygarde suddenly appears and requests a battle. Because Zygarde is in its 10% form, it's extremely frail, so we take it down with ease. And after the battle, Zygarde gives me a pebble, and it looks pretty useless. Just when a dog picks up a random object and it proudly hands it to you. Anyways, I guess I'll pocket it. Surely it'll be useful in the future. Suddenly, a trainer who appears to be Zygarde's mentor emerges and reveals that Zygarde entrusted me with this little tiny pebble, which he is also pretty unsure about. But he says that I'm the chosen one to save Lumiose. Finally, I enter Hotel Z, only for AZ to be missing. After a rogue Mega Evolution adventure, we are tasked with our next objective, ranking up to rank E, facing none other than Canary. Thankfully, we have a super fanboy of Canary, Naveen, and he informed us that she is a very popular variety streamer who strives to be the best at the trending games. However, we have one problem. Canary is always busy, and she's zipping around in random places in Lumiose. If only a fanboy knew everything, right, Naveen? But Naveen kept gatekeeping us, demanding a battle before sharing any information about Canary's whereabouts. To save everyone's time in Team MZ, I keep this battle short and simple with my marble absolutely walling Naveen's team. And finally, Naveen spills the beans. Canary has a super secret event where if you win, you can ask for a favor. Any favor. So here's the game plan. Naveen is in my ear, and all I have to do is follow Naveen's direction. Simple, right? The first step is getting through the gatekeep entrance with a secret phrase. I follow exactly what Naveen says. Let's go Dynamo. And just like that, we get past phase 1. But that is only the easiest phase. The next phase is a simple true or false box quiz. The first question, am I crazy good at this falling block puzzle game? Because Canary is very similar to me in puzzle skill, the answer is an outstandingly true. And lo and behold, we are correct. The next question, macaroons are my favorite food. Because I'm not 100% confident, I take the easy way and follow where most people are standing. And just like that, false was correct. 2 questions in and I needed no assistance from Naveen at all. The third question is, electric type Pokemon are Canary's favorite. Given Canary's electric personality, especially on stream and his lead Pokemon, the answer is an obvious yes. Round 1 is done, very easy and well done. Now that there are 5 contestants left in the competition, time for the second round. Canary's ace Pokemon Electros has a specific favorite dessert in Lumiose. Find her cute Electros' favorite snack and bring it back. I meander over to Cafe Gallant and get her a special type of Lumiose Skelet. One that is very well baked to have a very crunchy flavor. I make my way over to the fan club and pass round 2 with flying colors. Plus, you can see how happy Electros is when eating the crunchy Lumiose Skelet. Hold up, how can a hologram be able to taste? Anyways, we went from 5 contestants now down to 2. And now it comes down to a simple Pokemon battle against Manny, the 3 times Canary Quiz World Champion. Although Manny fought very hard and valiantly, he couldn't match my Excadrill and Marble. Canary accepts my odd request after some consideration, and now it's time to meet her in the Rakeen Construction Zone. I enter the Rakeen Construction Zone, and none other than Tarragon is waiting for a battle. Wait, Tarragon? Why not Canary? He promises he'll answer everything after I beat him in a battle, and I gladly accept. Canary's team is all ground-type Pokemon, and I was easily able to take out his Hippowdon and Diggersby. Then his last Pokemon came, Excadrill, and something you would have never expected, Mega Excadrill, a very polarizing design. Naturally, to make this fight even, I mega my own Meganium and easily take it out with 2 Giga Drains. We finally beat Tarragon and he finally answers. He's been using a Holocaster to project a hologram of Canary during the super secret Canary event because Canary is a true degenerate gamer. Then Tarragon leads me into Canary's streaming room where to my surprise she was streaming. And finally, it was time to fight Canary for a rank E rank up fight. Sadly, I couldn't bring anyone with me, otherwise I would have brought Superfan Naveen with me to support. Canary leads off with a Heliolisk, which was no match for my Heracross, and the same can be said with her other 2 Pokemon, Ampharos and Stunfisk. Lastly, her signature Pokemon, and just as we were tested, it is Electros. But not just any regular Electros, this is Mega Electros. Mega Electros was quite difficult, chomping down half my team and leaving them quite low, but eventually I pulled through thanks to my revolving door of Pokemon slowly whittling them down. And finally we are rank E. Not only that, but I also get the TM Revolt Switch and a signed Canary plush, just to make Naveen jealous. I make it back home with another absolutely beautiful homemade croissant curry, and like usual, Naveen has his sandwich and tea. When interrogating how Canary was, I confess and say that she gave me a signed Canary plush. Unfortunately, I wish I could have kept it myself to make Naveen jealous, but I guess he deserves it with the amount of help he's given me for this promotion match. I get a very nice long rest after a very long adventure yesterday. I head down to the lobby, and not long after, the rest of Team MZ make it to the lobby as well. Vinny gives us a call about 3 new rogue Mega Evolutions spotted in Lumiose: Beedrill, Hawlucha, and Banette. When leaving the hotel, Tawny has a little surprise for me when I climb the ladder on the left side. She teaches me about Rotoglide, a small burst with the Rotom phone to make you effectively double jump in midair. Now the screws that seemed suddenly impossible beforehand are now very doable. After a long main mission with Cannery, it's time to relax by finishing a few side quests that were unlocked, like P, who only uses hazards on her Pokemon, or this lovely gentleman that gives me a rare Galarian Slowpoke, and apparently it smells different? Or even this lovely couple that only uses status moves to whittle my Pokemon down. This next quest was one of my favorites, yet one large, girthy Magikarp for comparison. Look at the size difference between this Alpha Magikarp compared to this regular one. Crazy strong and big. After the mission grind, I spent some time in the new Wild Zones, Wild Zone 11, 12, and 13, catching all the Pokemon, and look, now we have snow in Lumiose. After completing all the side quests and catching all the Pokemon in the new Wild Zones, I finally make it over to my first rogue fight, Beedrill, alongside Tawny. Like all the other Mega Evolutions, none other than boys took care of this Beedrill, resisting both stabs while dealing super effective damage with Rock Blast, swiftly gaining the Beedrillite. After a fight with Beedrill, I sprint over to Banette alongside Naveen. Banette was probably the most difficult of the rogue Mega Evolutions because of its Shadow Clone Jitsu mechanic and the amount of invincibility frames it has thanks to the Phantom Force move. But once you figure out how to detect the real Banette, life gets so much easier. The real Banette will always be the one without a health bar above it because it has a health bar displayed on top at a very large font. But still, I figured out this mechanic way too late, and for my first time ever, my ever so indestructible boys went down. So my Mawile needed to finish the job, and after a very long, hard-fought battle, we finally gained the Banette-ite. And lastly was Mega Hawlucha, our first new rogue Mega Evolution. A majority of my team doesn't really handle Hawlucha very well, with my whole team being either neutral or super effective to either fairy or flying. So I used a mix of Gardevoir and Delphox to take down Hawlucha and gain the Hawlucha-ite. After the whole excursion, the whole Team MZ squad heads back to Hotel Z after a successful day of fending off these pesky road Pokemon. And barely after a minute I sit down, I get another call from Benny about my next ZA Royale opponent, Ivor. He's the leader who is spreading propaganda about removing enclosed wild zones and letting Pokemon roam around freely all over Lumiose. After dealing with the rogue Mega Evolutions, I run around Lumiose to boost friendship for evolutions, hitting Mega Crystals along the way. With the Mega Shards I collect, I slowly buy all the Mega Stones sold at Quesadico. I also squeeze in a few side quests, like this Scyther trimming side quest. This one was honestly pretty wholesome because Scyther doesn't know how to use his scythes, but wants to become a Furfu trimmer, and our Pokemon needs to teach Scyther on how to use its scythe effectively on this training dummy. During my exploration and side missions, I even catch rare Pokemon like Eevee and Larvitar. And finally, nighttime hits and I obtain my challenger ticket to face Ivor. As I'm walking straight to the fighting dojo, I met with Jose, the 5th disciple of the fighting dojo I fought right in front of Wild Zone 3. After dismantling her again very easily thanks to my boys, Ivor comes soaring in, looking for her little sister Gwen, who has Ivor's Rotom bone, which is needed for the promotion match. Ivor and I head over to the best and only detective in town, Emma. The three of us go straight to the city hall to search for any leads from strangers about Gwen's whereabouts. One stranger notifies us that Gwen would likely be near the Centrico Plaza near the Nouveau Cafe, so the three of us head straight over. The people from the Nouveau Cafe tells us she was with our previous challenge, Canary, and the three of us charge straight into the Rakeen construction. Canary, startled by Ivor's screaming voice, refuses to tell him. However, if I beat Canary in a rematch, she'll be able to give a little hint to Gwen's whereabouts. This battle, Canary lost even worse thanks to my Mega Excadrill sitting and pressing Drill Run like there's no tomorrow. Canary finally confesses, but not directly. It's in riddles, where the XYZ axis don't meet up. Some type of fountain that depicts Gwen's Chandelure, and that Chandelure is weak to. There is none other than one statue in Lumiose that fits this description, and it is none other than the Clawitzer statue, and she went in the Lumiose sewers. And this part was a little crazy. Emma assumes Gwen went into the sewers because of the statement Canary made, where XYZ axes don't meet up hint. So we head straight to the Clawitzer statue and figure that we need to freeze the fountain to access the sewers. All this hassle just to rank up. I use Ice Beam with my Vanillux, and just like that the water is gone and we explore the sewers. I catch a newly acquired Norbat just to discover that one part of the sewers is completely locked, and in Eeyore's fashion he wants to smash the door open, but Emma quickly stops him as it is Lumios's government property and he can get sued. As we're devising a plan to get through the door, a key Pokemon suddenly floats right past us. The three of us immediately chase it, cornering the Klefki and quickly catch it. With Klefki staring down the lock with a blank expression, it's clear that he doesn't have the right key to open it. So, without second thought, Eeyore just breaks the door down with his bare knuckles and runs straight into the sewers. Very impressive of his strength, yet very scary if you make him mad, considering he's my opponent for my next rank up match. After managing to catch up with Eeyore alongside Emma, we see a glimpse of Gwen's signature Pokemon, Chandelure, crossing a corner, and we all ran straight after it. We make it to a dead end, and there's a Chandelure nowhere to be found. We search the whole area and no leads. Just like in Eeyore fashion, he starts randomly punching through walls, and lo and behold, one wall is just an illusion. His punch goes right through. We all walk through together just to find Chandelure walking past the corner again. Again, we hit a dead end, but this time, Gwen is standing right there alongside her Chandelure. According to Eeyore, it looks like something has possessed her, and he insists we battle her to uncover who dragged her down into the sewers. Her first two Pokemon were pretty easy to take down, Mawile crushing Banette and Delphox using Mystical Fire on Gourgeist. Then, her last Pokemon came in, Chandelure, and we see her Mega Evolve it into none other than a bigger Chandelier. Naturally, when I see my opponent Mega Evolve, it's only right for me to Mega Evolve. Surprisingly, with a double type disadvantage against my Gyarados, she still manages to take it down. Safe to say her training with the Pokemon that Chandelure is weak to has fully paid off. Then my Excadrill avenges the Gyarados by hitting Chandelure with a nasty Drill Run. After finishing the battle, it seems that Gwen is tired of managing his older brother's training, breaking Rotom phones constantly, and complains from other trainers about his obnoxious behavior. In Gwen's words, it's an enormous burden. Hence why Gwen stays down in the sewers so that his brother can find her and have some nice peace and quiet. Eeyore swears to be more aware of his surroundings and be less of a nuisance, and Gwen agrees, and everything has been resolved and they head back to the dojo. I also head back to the dojo to finally fight Eeyore, not only to rank up, but also to get revenge for Gwen. Eeyore sends out his own Heracross and instantly takes down my Delphox and half of Mawile's HP before managing to take his Heracross down. Eeyore then sends out a Machamp, who kills my Mawile with one Bulldoze. I bring out my Meganium, and I'm not exactly sure what I was thinking, but I hit 4 Giga Drains before I hit Machamp with a super effective Dazzling Gleam, and my Meganium is chunked to half HP for the last 2 Pokemon on Eeyore's team. The next Pokemon Eeyore sends out is Medicham. My Meganium chips it in half before going down, and my Excadrill managed to finish the job. Lastly, Eeyore sends out a Phalanx, and to my surprise, Eeyore Mega Evolves the Phalanx. This Phalanx was a menace with the move No Retreat, where Phalanx has a +1 boost to all of his stats but can't switch out. Gyarados goes down thanks to Rock Slide, but luckily, thanks to a clutch Freeze, Gyarados manages to take down Phalanx down to 1 HP. Finally, none other than Boys came in for the final swoop to take down Phalanx, ranking up to rank D. This was definitely the hardest fight up until now, with my whole team being weak to either Phalanx aside from Meganium. After a long and hard-fought battle, nothing can beat coming back to the hotel with a hot, home-cooked croissant curry. And I love this banter between Tawny and Naveen. Tawny really wants for Naveen to try the croissant curry, just like the rest of the group, but Naveen persistently refuses. Everyone gets a good night's sleep until morning hits, and Tawny is not waiting at the lobby. Weird. Suddenly, I get a call from a mysterious person confirming my name and where I live. Even more suspicious. Apparently, Tawny borrowed some money from the Rust Syndicate, and these people want me to go to the Rust Syndicate. I don't think much of it until Naveen says, the Rust Syndicate makes it impossible for you to pay back your interest, essentially a loan sharking business in real life. But before we figure out Tawny's mess, we go to the 2 new wild zones that opened up, Wild Zone 14 and 15, as well as completing side quests, like competing in a 5-course battle in restaurant legendsza, which I thought was going to be relatively simple, which I brought 5 usable Pokemon alongside my Riolu to gain some happiness. But the amount of battles back to back and the variety of different types like Flying, Rock, Grass, Ice, and Psychic made it very difficult for my Pokemon to stay nice and healthy. At the last battle was the Psychic type battle, and thankfully Meganium was able to push through and stay healthy with Giga Drain alongside its Mega Evolution, beating the 2-star battle side quest. I quickly leave the restaurant, only to stumble upon a frozen Numel stuck in Area 12. Hold up, how is Numel supposed to be frozen? Numel contains magma of almost 1200 degrees Celsius, so shouldn't he instantly be melting the ice? After saving Numel from the ice, I keep exploring Lumiose and enjoy the ambiance of it all. And that's when I stumble upon a film director frantically trying to find a Carvana for his next big scene. Here's the footage we ended up using. Before we head to the Rest Syndicate to clean up Tawny's mess, I head straight into the battle zone to let off some steam and pre-obtain my challenger ticket for my next rank up opponent. I head straight to the Rest Syndicate office, only to be stopped by 2 grunts itching for a battle outside. After beating them, their big boss manager Philip stormed out, offended that I steamrolled his staff and challenged us to humble us. While battling Philip, we also get a glimpse of a new Mega Evolution, Mega Skarmory. After defeating Philip, I walk into the Rest Syndicate office, only to be greeted by a row of Syndicate members standing on each side of the room like soldiers, silently watching my every step as Philip waited for me right in front of the elevator. Corbeau, the boss of Rest Syndicate, lays out the whole situation for us. Tawny borrowed money for them to promote Hotel Z and boost customer traffic. Rest Syndicate loaned her $100,000 for this purpose, and because of interest, the total amount Tawny owes is now 1 million Pokédollars. Tawny claimed that this promotional video would do so well, customers would be flocking in Hotel Z, and she'd be able to pay it back in 1 day. But according to Lita, the promotional video is still in single digits. Here's how Corbeau and the Rest Syndicate want to handle this. Tawny will handle the base 100,000, and Lita and I will do some tasks to benefit the city of Lumiose. But given this company's predatory interest rate, I can't help but feel uneasy about the tasks they talk about and how much work they expect us to get through for the rest of the $900,000. Lita and I head back to Hotel Z, worried about what impending doom Corbeau is going to throw at us. Naveen, Lita, and I go coordinate a 3-person strategy meeting to figure out what we do with this $900,000 loan, and if there's any way to weasel out of it. In the middle of our meeting, Tawny nonchalantly walks in, as if she didn't put Hotel Z in generational debt. But in comes Vinny to save Tawny once again, calling us and giving us 3 more Rogue Mega Evolutions to clear: Mawile, Barbaracle, and Ampharos. I first head over to Rogue Mawile alongside Tawny to free her up from the shackles of Vinny's task and allow her to pay debts off to Rust Syndicate. Mawile was a little harder because when Excadrill and Chandelure took it down to more than half, Mawile released her special move, going out of the arena and throwing balls everywhere around the arena, just like you're playing dodgeball all over again. As it was my first time seeing this, I was startled, yet my Excadrill managed to pull through and get the Mawile Light and finally can give my Megastone to my own Mawile. Now Tawny, you scurry and scrounge up some money to give to the rest of the Rest Syndicate other 2 Megas. Now onto Mega Barbaracle alongside Lita, now as a Rock and Fighting type Pokemon as opposed to a Rock and Water type Pokemon. I actually wiped this Mega Barbaracle, not expecting him to use basically the all-out pummeling Z move. Not knowing the scary technology Barbaracle possesses, I decided to play more back and long range. However, it was pretty scary with the amount of jumping moves Barbaracle has. It looked as if he wasn't even targeting my Pokemon, but just permanently targeting me. I guess that's what I get for calling it ugly back 12 years ago in X and Y. With careful positioning of my character, I managed to defeat Barbaracle and obtain the Barbaracle Light. After the fight, Zygarde and L appear once more. Zygarde quickly vanishes the moment I notice it, but L shared an important insight. He suspects the rise of rogue Mega Evolution is connected to the ongoing renovations at Prison Tower, and the people who rebuilt the Prison Tower were none other than Quesadico Inc. As I walk towards the next rogue Mega Evolution, I reflect on L's words. Could Quesadico actually be the evil organization? If what L is saying is true, then hypothetically speaking, Quesadico's two major projects, the Wild Zone and Lumio's Towers, and feel like more temporary fixes than permanent solutions. It's as if these projects are just band-aids for a much larger sinister problem lurking beneath the surface. And I finally make it to the last rogue battle, Ampharos with Naveen, and thanks to Mawball resisting electric and being immune to ground, Naveen and I take the Ampharos rather quickly and obtain the Ampharosite. I head back to Hotel Z, but no Tawny can be found. Then suddenly, we get a call from Corbeau asking us to beat up some troublemakers in the Blur District and teach them a lesson. Maybe Rust Syndicate wasn't bad after all. I head straight to where Corbeau requested, and it's not as you expected. The troublemakers were none other than Ghastly and Gengar. But that's not the only task Corbeau wants me to complete today. He tells me to meet him underneath the bridge to tidy up some undesirable elements. As sketchy as this sounds, and as much as I don't want to, a deal is a deal. As opposed to the other quest, this quest was relatively simple. Clear the Mega Shards in the sewers, so me and my cute little Riolu swiftly clean the tunnel and report back to the grunt, leaving Corbeau satisfied. But before we go to the next area, Corbeau asked me two very important questions. Do I know someone named L, and have you been clearing rogue Mega Evolutions? Instinctively, both of these answers were yes, and Corbeau stays completely silent and tells me to go to the next area, a battle arena near Centrico Plaza. I take on these two well-dressed individuals that were part of the Battle Connoisseur. Thinking nothing of it, I accepted and defeated them both pretty handily. Then, Corbeau suddenly shows up and calls them out for acting like they own Lumios and troubling the children. As the side plot starts to wrap up, we suddenly hear screaming in a direction and start rushing towards the commotion. When Corbeau and I arrive, we see a heated argument unfolding between Jet, the president of Quesadico, and a crowd of Lumio citizens demanding answers about the overwhelming number of wild zones in the city's redevelopment plan. And of course, right in the middle of all this is our best friend Tawny. To defuse the situation, Corbeau and I step in and engage the crowd in a Pokemon battle, giving Tawny and Jet the chance to slip away safely. Corbeau and I end up 2v1ing this single poor citizen, while the dozen others just watch him get demolished by two of the best trainers in all of Lumiose. After the citizen finally dispersed in frustration, Jet shares a heartfelt explanation of Quesadico's long-term vision for wild zones. The ultimate goal is for people and Pokemon to coexist in true harmony, no barriers and no fear. But as things stand right now, this ideal is still far out of reach. This is why the Holotech exists, to keep both wild Pokemon and Lumio citizens safe until Quesadico can implement a future where Pokemon and people can coexist. As everyone heads their own way, I make it back to Hotel Z, catching Lita and Naveen up to speed on everything that happened. But before I can sit down and relax, Corbeau calls me straight to the office. Like, why couldn't you just take me there after we all broke off? I guess this is more walking for me. When I arrive at the Rust Syndicate office, Corbeau wastes no time and demands a full-on battle. And to my surprise, he's the trainer I'll have to face for the next ZA Royale rank promotion. Thanks to my previous grinding, I already have a challenger ticket, and can fight Corbeau instantly without him waiting for ages. Corbeau leads off with an Arbok. Excadrill takes down the Arbok in one hit, but not before Arbok landing a nasty Fire Fang, taking my Excadrill down to exactly half. Then Corbeau sends out a Gyarados. While my team doesn't have any great answers for Gyarados, I send out Mawile. After each of us landing vicious hits on each Pokemon, my Mawile comes out on top thanks to Play Rough and Crunch. With Mawile at 20 HP, it effectively means it's out of the fight. Corbeau then sends out Roserade, and I take it down with Flamethrower and Psychic from my Chandelure. But with my Chandelure at 43 HP, it is also out of the fight just like Mawile and Excadrill. Let's hope that his last Pokemon isn't too dangerous. Corbeau's last Pokemon he sends out is Scolipede. I let my Chandelure go down as it sends out its last Psychic, sending Scolipede down to 25% so that Heracross can finally take it down with Rock Blast. And just like that, we rank up to rank C. Back to Hotel Z, I sit back down and enjoy a handmade croissant curry, recounting my battles with Corbeau. Then, out of nowhere, Corbeau decides to stay in our hotel. The next morning, everyone in Team MC was chilling in the lobby, but a little tense because Corbeau was in the hotel. A little while after, we see Corbeau come down the elevator. Corbeau pays for the stay and gives Tawny a very generous gift for the excellent housekeeping and service she provided. Philip then shows up to escort Corbeau back to the Rust Syndicate and immediately demands for the $100,000. And lo and behold, Tawny has that full amount right in her hand, thanks to Corbeau. And just like that, the weight off the Rust Syndicate's pesky loans and requests are lifted from Team MZ's shoulders. After Rust Syndicates leave, AC gives both Naveen and Lita their own Mega Rings and Stones to evolve their partners, and with their newly found power, Lita and Naveen request a battle. Lita was very easy trainer to take down, but he gotta watch out for her Mega Star U. Naveen was a little more difficult because he actually had a Mega Evolution, a very cool one in fact in Mega Scrafty, almost taking down my Meganium. After the battles, Lita was starving, so of course we make our way to the ever so popular Nouveau Cafe for brunch. But in the middle of our bonding, we're interrupted by someone named LeBon, a member of the Society of Battle Connoisseurs. The leader of our society, Jantine, wants both Tawny and I to attend their next tournament, where something bad will happen. According to Naveen, the Society of Battle Connoisseurs dress extremely fancy, so we can't just show up in a jacket and tee and jeans. We need to dress formally and dress to impress. That's no problem for Team MZ with fashionista Naveen, and he straight up takes us to the Gucci of Lumiose. But the store owner, Asami, has a condition. She wants us to fulfill her dream by playing a real-life dress to impress challenge, and the clothing will be completely free. But there's one catch. We have to prove we're strong trainers by battling her, and we must use a Mega Evolution during the fight to show that we're capable and worthy. I take her one Pokemon down with a Mega Excadrill Ironhead into the Forages, and Asami gives me a super snazzy outfit with a nice floral pattern. And just like in Tawny fashion, she refuses to get anything formal and starts wearing a jacket, tee, and shorts to the Battle Connoisseur. As soon as Tawny and I step into this hotel, you can immediately tell it's a 5-star, top-tier fancy establishment. And to my surprise, many familiar faces from previous quests are here too. Gwen, Canary, Corbeau, Ivor, and more. As the leader Jantine introduces us, Tawny takes a call from Vinny, earning a chorus of side eyes and judging looks from everyone else. Tawny informs me that there are more rogue Mega Evolutions we need to deal with, and we need to leave the Jantine event. But Levon has an expression of, oh no, not this again. Tawny and I leave the hotel and head straight to Hotel Z and start our strategy meeting. We had 3 more rogue Mega Evolutions to take care of, Frostlass, Venusaur, and Hawlucha. But in the middle of our meeting, someone suddenly appears in a hologram, and it's none other than Jantine. All 4 of us were so focused on the meeting that the interruption barely registers until we turn our heads and see Jantine sitting right there. She came to drag Tawny and I back to the tournament. We try to brush her off, but Jantine is extremely stubborn and won't let Tawny and I off the hook. So we make her a deal. We beat the rogue Mega Evolutions Vinny sent, then we'll head straight to the hotel for the tournament. But before the story truly blossoms, I want to take some time to chill and do some side quests, like how I saved this distressed Delibird from a pile of rubbish Garbodor, or the time I helped a lady by showing her Mega Camera Sableye Medicham for her colored contact business. And even the Vanilla quest, not only did I mess up once, but I messed up twice, thinking it was Vanillish and Vanillux, but it was actually Vanillite that they wanted. Afterwards, I visited the new Wild Zone case article added, Wild Zone 16, and it has many new Mega Evolutions, such as Phalanx, Barbaricore. Lastly, before I fight the Rogue Mega Evolutions and deal with the ever so annoying Jantine, I grind up for the next Challenger ticket. I first head over to Naveen because I'm intrigued in what Mega Frostlass is gonna look like, because it resembles a Japanese Empress or a Yuki-onna. I was easily able to take down Frostlass without much difficulty and obtain the Frostlass site. I next head over to Mega Altaria alongside Lita. Given Altaria is Dragon and Fairy, my Mawile completely walled it by being immune to Dragon and resistant to Fairy, all the while hitting Altaria with 3 super effective moves, Ironhead, Play Rough, and Ice Fang, easily managing to defeat Altaria and obtaining the Altaria Knight. Lastly, I head over to Tawny. This fight was definitely tougher, Mega Venusaur having way more AoE attacks and healing than other rogue Mega Evolutions. After 2 unfortunate deaths on my team, I finally managed to take down and secure the Venusaur Ice. Just as I finished, none other than Jantine's Holocast came to pester us to join her event. Then, the Team MC squad decided to regroup at the hotel before Tawny and I make over to the hotel. But as stubborn and impatient as ever, Jantine creates none other than her own zone surrounding Hotel Z, forcing us to battle against LeBron and the two trainers who Corbeau and I kicked off. LeBron's team was rather simple, Ice Fanging the Noivern, Dazzling Gleaming the Tyrantrum, Ice Fanging the Garchomp. Then LeBron's final Pokemon shows up, Dragalge. It is none other than Mega Dragalge, which I absolutely love the design of. Just like most Pokemon on LeBron's team, Marble was able to single-handedly destroy Dragalge with no problems at all. As I was talking to LeBron on how to skip the tournament, I get an announcement from the ZA Royale. Your next opponent is Jantine. It's like the ZA Royale even wanted me to go to the event. Now I have to go. I reluctantly make my way over to the hotel with Tawny to finally take part in the event. To keep things brief, every trainer was fairly easy as there were previously challenges I have beaten, and my bracket was as follows: Cannery, Ivor, and Corbeau. As the last fight, we face off against none other than Jantine. But before the battle commences, Zygarde and Al suddenly show up, and everyone in the room is absolutely shocked. On the visual, Jantine adds a special side event for Zygarde and Ian. The visual now looks super duper hilarious to me. Like, how did two people skip the bracket? Before my fight with Zygarde, Zygarde cells start squirming towards the 10% form, and lo and behold, Zygarde goes into its 50% form. However, thanks to Ice Fang on Gyarados, Zygarde 50% form goes down with little to no issue, and then instantly turns back into 10% form and quickly dashes away. Now finally for an actual fight with Jantine and my rank up match. Jantine leads off with a Carbink, which is an easy Iron Head for my Mawile. Then she sends out her own Mawile, and one Earthquake from Excadrill does the trick. Jantine next sends out a Gardevoir, and we both trade Pokemon as Iron Head and Mystical Fire hit at the same time. Jantine then sends out an Aurorus, which is the easiest Brick Break for my Heracross, and as for Jantine's ace, she brings out a Clefable. Unaware about the new typing of Mega Clefable, Flying and Fairy, I Mega Evolve my Heracross before she Mega Evolves her Clefable, just for my Heracross to go down to one Air Slash, leaving Gyarados to KO with Iron Head and seal the deal, ranking up to rank B and winning the Jantine tournament. Just like after every other rank up, I go home to a nice croissant curry, and look at that, Naveen finally caves in and eats the croissant curry. We'd love to see character development from him. Before going to sleep that night, we get some deep reflection from the 8-foot tall AZ, reflecting on his biggest mistake 3,000 years ago. In the morning, AZ warns us about the growing tension and uneasiness coming from the Lumiose Tower, and he tells us that Floette's eternal power may be fully unleashed for the strongest trainer in Lumiose. Then, Tawny gets a call from Vinny, so we all make our way over to Quesado. Jet, the CEO of Quesado, takes a moment to reveal the history behind the holotech barriers. 5 years ago, Lumiose City was hemorrhaging people and property, and the value plummeted, so the urban redevelopment plan was established. Due to the risky nature of this project, the mayor of Lumiose looked for businesses to complete the redevelopment plan, yet no businesses agreed, so it all fell to Quesadico. When investigating the Prism Tower for improvements and repairs, it was emitting Mega Power in all corners of the city, and thus the reason why there are rogue Mega Evolution Pokemon. Before we left, Vinny notifies us of 3 new rogue Mega Evolutions we need to clear, so Tawny and the others quickly head back to Hotel Z. However, I take some time to relax and sneak out and go to the newest Wild Zone. Wild Zone 18 to catch Bagon, and Wild Zone 19 to catch Kangaskhan, Furfrou, Drampa, and Eevee. Simultaneously, I evolve a bunch of different Pokemon like Roserade, Florges, Heliolisk, Dragalge, and catch all the Eevees to evolve into all the Eeveelutions. Then I also grind for the ZA Royale Challenger ticket and Eevee train 3 Pokemon for the online mode to get the Greninjaite. Finally, I head into the Team MC strategy meeting: Dragonite, Starmie, and Tyranitar. As always, I hold the weight of battling all 3 rogue Mega Evolution. I first go to what I think is easiest, Dragonite. Even though it's a pseudo-legendary Pokemon, having 4 times weaknesses and being completely walled by Mawile made me think it was a really easy fight. But the fight was still very difficult, with both my Mawile and Gyarados fainting multiple times and having to revive them and heal them constantly. Next, I head over to Lita's fight to fight Mega Starmie, only to be stopped by Rust, Syndicate, Grunt, and Admin Phillip. To prove my worth against Starmie, I had to fight Phillip, where my Excadrill, Mawile, Chandelure cleaned up his Aggron, Steelix, Scizor, and Skarmory very easily. Mega Starmie was very easy to handle, with my Meganium doing almost all of the heavy lifting. However, I almost wiped multiple times, not because Meganium was struggling, but because Starmie kept targeting my character instead. With his fast projectiles, long-range attacks, and long-range dashes, It made Starmie difficult to handle. Eventually Starmie was beaten and I got the Starmieite. Lastly was Tyranitar with Naveen. And to say the least, this one was the easiest rogue mega fight ever, because of boys hammering Tyranitar down with 4 times super effective brick breaks and finally gaining the Tyranitarite. The whole gang regroups at Hotel Z, celebrating another successful stoppage of rogue mega evolutions. As we were celebrating, my phone rings, and my last opponent is revealed for the ZA Royale, Grisham. But only problem is, no one knows who Grisham exactly is. Naturally, Tawny asks to meet Emma to see if she knows who Grisham is. Emma says she does know, but gatekeeps her knowledge through a battle. But because Emma isn't a super strong trainer, I easily dismantle her team. After the battle, Emma reveals that Team Flare disbanded 5 years ago, and their leader suddenly reappeared in Lumiose with their new name, L. L. Where have I heard that before? No, not from Death Note, but the one who's been following Zygarde. Emma, having no real leads, asks us to go to the professor's research lab because she used to be one of the Team Flare admins. I head over to Mabel to ask for more information and she directs us to the Nouveau Cafe. The Nouveau Cafe? Is Grisham working in the Nouveau Cafe? I head over to the Nouveau Cafe and talk to the vendor. And lo and behold, it is Grisham. Before a battle, Grisham and Gazelle close down their shop and want to reveal something. They lead me straight to the Lysander Cafe. Gazelle, visibly angry, snaps at me, demanding to know what I know about Team Flare because I didn't experience anything. And of course, she wants to blow off some steam in a Pokemon battle. Gazelle sends out a Talonflame. I take it down with my lead, Heracross with Rock Blast. Then she sends out Camerupt, and I instantly go into Gyarados and hit Waterfall to take down the Camerupt. My Meganium is able to handle the Aerodactyl with a variety of moves, Giga Drain, Leaf Storm, and Dazzling Gleam. Gazelle's second last Pokemon is Metagross, where I chunk Metagross with my Heracross and finish it off with Excadrill. Lastly, she sent out Pyroar, but this isn't just a regular Pyroar. This is Mega Pyroar. Then I realize a very fatal flaw with the team I'm running. 4 out of the 6 of my Pokemon are weak to fire. But thankfully, a Psychic from Chandelure and a Waterfall from a burned Gyarados and an Earthquake from an Excadrill seals the deal to beat Griselle. And now, time for a history lesson. Lysander, the leader of Team Flare, had one goal in mind: to eliminate the amount of humans on this Earth. Lysander chose to use the ultimate weapon, which was AZ's creation. And now we enter Lysander's lab with 2 ex-Team Flare members waiting for me at the staircase. Not a good feeling. I head down there and my first task was set: find the elevator key. I run around in Lysander's lab and find a lever that turns on the power of part of the lab. Then I find the key to access the other part of the lab, and once again on the other part of the lab, I need to find another lever that turns on the power. Bam! Now both sides of the Lysander's lab is powered on, just like the old days. After a while of searching, I find many lab cards, but no elevator key in sight. Could this be Team Flare trapping me, the strongest trainer in Lumiose, inside Lysander's lab? I slide open a new door with the lab cards and was greeted by Honedge and Aegislash. I easily take them down with one Excadrill Earthquake, and there it was, standing right in front of me, the elevator key. I head back over to the entrance and head straight for B3F. I walk into a fully dark room, only to be greeted by a TV with the schematics of the ultimate weapon used in Geosenge Town, and forcing me to read 4 different sections, with each section talking about the ideologies of Team Flare and the legendaries of X and Y. After talking to the machine, none other than Zygarde 10% form and L surprised me down here. Not only did AZ make the ultimate weapon, he also made the device that now hides underneath the Prism Tower. Knowing about the device, Al still used the ultimate weapon, and it caused a huge explosion, and Zygarde came to save him deep within the Team Flare base. However, by doing so, Zygarde also exhausted all of its power. L's reasoning to come back to Lumiose is this: with the power that hides underneath the Prism Tower, Rogue Mega Evolution is about to go frenzy in Lumiose, and the only one to control it is AZ's Floette he revived. L orders me to talk to Grisham and AZ to figure out what to do next. I head back upstairs, fortunately not trapped, and speak with Grisham, and he makes one request: bring AZ's Floette to him. I go back to AZ and talk to him. He tells me and the rest of Team MZ to meet up on the rooftop. After AZ created the ultimate weapon, Eternal Floette left him for 3,000 years, and when someone asked him to help him for help, instead of making one to destroy, he wanted to make one for eternal life, and that is the exact weapon inside the Prism Tower, Ange. AC dreamt of a day where Floette would come back, but that never transpired. But now the tower is emitting excessive amounts of Mega Power, and due to the absence of Eternal Floette, Mega Power started to leak from the tower, allowing Rogue Mega Evolution to be roaming around. And there was one way to fix everything, and reach the control panel up top Ange, deep within the Prism Tower. Now, it seems Eternal Floette only came back to fix AC's past and make amends to his wrongdoings, but the strongest trainer can only wield Mega Eternal Floette. So, it is finally time for the showdown. Grisham versus Ian, who is the strongest trainer in all of Lumiose. Grisham leads with Pangoro, and one Brick Break and Lunge takes it down while chipping Boys a little bit. Grisham brings in Malamar, who yawns my hair across, but Boys doesn't care and presses a 4-time super effective Lunge to take it out. As Grisham brings out Pyroar, I instantly answer back by hard switching into Gyarados. 2 waterfalls take Pyroar down, but now my Gyarados is less than half HP. Tyranitar is next. My Gyarados tries to hit a waterfall, but Grisham's Tyranitar throws a Stone Edge way faster than my Gyarados. My Sleepy Heracross avenges Gyarados by hitting Tyranitar with a Brick Break, and Grisham brings out his second last Pokemon, Salamence. With Gyarados dead and unable to use Ice Fang, I let Boys go down and hard switch into Mawile, and hit Salamence with a Play Rough Iron Head Thunder Punch 3-punch combo to take it down, while leaving my Mawile at very low HP. And Grisham's last Pokemon is none other than Charizard X. Remember the weakness I discovered when fighting Grizel, my Fire-type weakness? Well, this Charizard X shows my weakness on full display, perfectly timing a Protect into Mawile's Play Rough, then revenge killing it with Flare Blitz. Then I try to bring out my Excadrill and try to Mega Evolve it and Earthquake it, but I'm too slow, letting Excadrill go down before it can move. My only hope and savior is Chandelure, being neutral to Dragon and resistant to Fire. The first Psychic I throw at Charizard, it perfectly lands a Protect, and hits me with the Dragon Rush, sending my Chandelure at 9 HP. Unsure what to do, I panic heal Chandelure and then go into Meganium, who instantly faints to a Flare Blitz. Thankfully, Charizard's Mega Bar goes down and is now a regular Charizard, allowing me to Psychic it. In a panic, I revive Gyarados, and thank God for that because my Chandelure dies. I switch into Gyarados and finish Charizard off with a Waterfall. Definitely one of the closest fights I've ever had in ZA, and just like that, we're the highest rank possible in Lumiose, rank A. And after a battle, none other than Zygarde comes and congratulates us, and as always, L is there and states that Prism Tower is near at its breaking point. Dinner hits with a classic croissant curry, and to my surprise, Tawny also hit rank A. Suddenly, we hear a scream from AZ in the lobby, and we all rush out. Floette is in pain, and it looks like Ange is affecting it. Still worried about the Floette, I head to sleep, knowing that tomorrow will be a big day. But in the middle of the night, I hear a huge bang. Thanks to Naveen's insight from watching Canary stream, it seems to be connected to the Prism Tower. Team MC meet AZ upstairs and take one look at Prism Tower, and it looks as if Ange is finally taking over. The whole squad heads over to Centrico Plaza, and Vinny is waiting there. Because Tawny and I are both rank A, Vinny asks who will take Mega Eternal Floette. Tawny requests a battle with me and I gladly accept. Rank A versus Rank A. Tawny leads off with Meowstic and pulls off a crazy strategy, pressing Reflect and Light Screen. Light Screen and Reflect work in the same ways as it does in the regular game, but instead of 5 turns, it lasts for 35 seconds. Thanks to Mawile, I easily take out Meowstic, and then Tawny sends out her starter, Feraligatr, and even through Light Screen and Reflect, my Mawile deals massive damage, taking out Feraligatr, but leaving Mawile low herself. To maximize the use of Mega Mawile, I use a Hyper Potion to heal it, and then Tawny sends out her Manectric. With a combination of Play Rough, Crunch, and Iron Head, I managed to take down Manectric, but leaving Mawile low again. Goodra comes out, and I can't help but Hyper Potion again, and as the Mega Meter was ticking down, I threw off one last Play Rough to take Goodra down. Tawny sends out an Avalugg, and after seeing how Mawile tickled the Avalugg, I bring out Heracross and Brick Break into Rock Blast and the Brick Break take the Avalugg down. Lastly, Tawny sends out the other starter Pokemon, Emboar. But this Emboar is not just any Emboar, this is Mega Emboar. Thankfully, my Excadrill was able to land one Earthquake before the Emboar takes itself out with Flare Blitz recoil damage, beating Tawny and allowing me to take Mega Eternal Floette. But to my surprise, Tawny steps in to take Floette. I guess as the leader of Team MC, she can really do whatever she wants. But Tawny makes a really good point. I already have a connection to a crucial legendary Pokemon, Zygarde, and if Tawny needs my help, I can come save her with Zygarde. AZ calls one last time, apologizing for his sins and failures to protect the Lumiose region. It's okay, AZ. If all else fails, the blame will be 100% yours. Now, the mission has officially started. Floette gives Tawny her Mega Stone, and Floette takes her directly up to the control panel. Tawny sits down on the control panel and puts her hand straight onto the biometric controller. Floette makes her way to the top of Lumiose, and suddenly the mega power leaking stopped. Tawny looks very relieved, but suddenly an even bigger shining light appears above her. All of a sudden, the prison tower breaks and it's infested with roots and flowers, and what looks to be the ultimate weapon at the peak of the tower. As Vinny quickly scurries off to inform the other Quesadico members, Team MZ runs straight into the madness to see what all the damage is about. Thankfully, we get a call from Tawny, knowing that she is alive. From the view all the way up top, Tawny sees Zygarde in the Magenta District. All Team MZ decides to start running there. However, with an uncontrollable Mega Power leakage, there are more rogue Mega Pokemon than ever. Lita, Naveen, and I quickly take down Mega Heracross and Mega Gengar, and just like that, in Lita fashion, we hold a strategy meeting. Suddenly, Canary, Eivor, and Corbo show up in their hologram form to offer us some help. Naveen, surprised, started stuttering very hard in front of Canary, his idol. Vinny comes along not far after and explains that he has called the top-ranked trainers to help us with this excursion. Eivor wonders if Zygarde is testing my abilities and placing him so far away from where I am, so the plan is simple. Get me to Zygarde. Jantine suddenly shows up and shows us a bird's eye view of the whole mess. With everyone there, we devise a plan and a route that I can follow. The first step is connecting with Gwen and Eivor. I find them and quickly run over, only to find themselves in front of Mega Pidgeot, Kangaskhan, and Garchomp. With all three of us working together, we take down the rogue Mega Evolution with no difficulty. Just as we finish and celebrate, 3 more rogue Pokemon show up, 2 Sharpedos and a Mega Scizor. Eivor and I quickly make our exit, with Eivor escorting me to the next point. As for Gwen, well, she has her own way of handling things. And if I were to assume, she ran and took them to the depths of Lumiose sewers to slowly whittle them down. Eivor and I are at a roadblock, with a bunch of debris from Lumiose Tower blocking the bridge on the other side. With some debris stacked high near the water, Eivor and Phalanx threw their fists and made their own makeshift bridge for me to cross. Very impressive. Gwen finally comes back to meet up with Eivor, only to say goodbye as I'm moving to the next checkpoint. I quickly head over to the next checkpoint, and Canary, Tarragon, and the rest of the Rakeen construction crew is waiting for me there. Canary and I take on 1 Blastoise and Steelix, with the majority of my Pokemon being physical. It took a lot longer to take down Steelix, but in the end, with not much difficulty. While Canary and I were fighting the Mega Evolution, Tarragon and the rest of the Rakeen construction crew built a huge parkour course for me to easily get to the next area. And big, I mean massive. It's crazy how fast they got everything up. I carefully but quickly maneuvered the huge parkour course and eventually made it to the other side. As Tarragon and Canary were congratulating me, they suddenly got ambushed by 2 Beedrills and 1 Mega Lopunny. I made it over to the next checkpoint where LeBon and Jantine were waiting for me. LeBon and I fight Mega Salamence and Aggron, where due to the strength of Salamence and the bulkiness of Aggron, my Mawile goes down. As I leave for the next zone, the real Jantine finally shows up, and Mega Salamence and Aggron's reinforcement finally come in. 3 Mega Houndooms and 2 Mega Abomasnows. Jantine and LeBon use their special move to summon their own battle zone to prevent these Pokemon from running away and creating more havoc. On the next stop, we meet Corbo, who's sitting in a shopping district with no Mega Pokemon. Suddenly, Gardevoir and Gallade show up, and they were no match for Corbo and I's 1-2 Scolipede and Excadrill Unova Special Punch. As Corbo and I exit the shopping district, where the rest of the Rust Syndicate members were at, Philip reports that there are no ways to get up to the rooftops, and just in Rust Syndicate clown fashion, they made a human ladder for me to climb on. Massive respects to Corbo and the rest of the Rust Syndicate doing everything they can to save Lumiose. As I make my way over to the next stop, I'm stopped by Mega Alakazam, Metagross, and Aerodactyl. But thankfully, I hear a familiar voice behind me, and it is none other than Grisham and Griselle from the Nouveau Cafe. The 3 of us easily take down the trio, but my character almost dies to taking too many long-range attacks from Alakazam. And just like that, we made it to Zygarde. However, this time, we have an aerial assault with an entire swarm of Pinsir waiting to strike at any moment. Thankfully, just like Gwen, Griselle and Grisham managed to run away, distracting the swarm successfully, allowing Zygarde and I to pass through safely. After a long walk following Zygarde, we finally make it up to the rooftop, being able to see the whole mess very clearly. And just like always, Al shows up and gives me 99 Zygarde cells. And gives me 99 Zygarde cells to give to the Zygarde 10% form. But one Zygarde cell was missing. And just at the beginning of our adventure, and that one Zygarde in our bag suddenly pops out and jumps straight into the other Zygarde cells, allowing Zygarde to turn into its 100% form. As Zygarde turned into its complete form, the more hostile Ange got. I got sent all the way to the bottom, handling 2 red and blue flowers, representing Xerneas and Yveltal, while Zygarde tries to fend off Ange as much as possible. Unsure how the mechanics of the flowers were or even what type it was, I decided to use my strongest Pokemon, Excadrill, to take them down. After I beat the flowers, for a second we get a POV of Zygarde complete form, and we get to use one of 3 moves, Thousand Arrows, Thousand Waves, or Land's Wrath. I use Thousand Arrows, but as Zygarde uses Thousand Arrows, Ange unleashes a deadly Meteor Beam targeting all the Lumiose. Thankfully, Zygarde is here to protect me. Surely Emma has saved all the citizens outside of the Centrico Plaza from the Meteor Beams, right? Then the mechanical flower shows once again, and again I only use Excadrill, only to be one-shotted this time, but thanks to multiple revives I managed to bring him back and defeat the flowers once again. And just like before, we get to see Zygarde's POV once again, and just like last time, Core Enforcer cannot be clicked, so I hit Ange with another nasty Thousand Arrows. On the ground, the 2 flowers appear once more, stronger and more dangerous than ever, this time releasing a mysterious poisonous aroma and sending debris flying everywhere. After many turns of healing, Excadrill and Boys managed to take both flowers out. This time, when I take control of Zygarde, the Core Enforcer move is ready and I activate it. The Mega Energy from Prism Tower stops leaking and everyone seems relieved. However, Ange, on its last leg, attempts to fire Floette's Light of Ruin as a final last-ditch effort. Then suddenly, something in my satchel starts glowing. The Pebble Zygarde gave us a while back, turned into a Zygardeite? I call Zygarde into its complete form and activate its Mega Evolution. The Mega Evolution turned into a literal nuke. The Light of Ruin from Ange has been launched into what seems to be like a huge meteorite that will hit Lumiose. Thanks to Zygarde's nuke, the meteorite was absolutely demolished and instead turned into beautiful fireworks for all of Lumiose to witness. Tawny slowly slides down the Prism Tower, presenting Floette gently in her hands, which looks as if it has not awoken from a troubling dream. AC stands on the rooftop, gazing at the beautiful fireworks lighting up the sky, relieved that Team MZ has saved Lumiose. After another celebration, we get a report that one person has died. We all rush to the cemetery in Wild Zone 4, and there it stands, another tombstone. And it was none other than AZ. We all say our grievances, then head back over to Hotel Z, demoralized. As Tawny was organizing some of AZ's belongings back in Hotel Z, she stumbles across a letter. Dear Team MZ, if you're reading this letter, then it would seem my time has finally come to an end. Do with the hotel whatever you like, and if the hotel is too much burden, sell it. However, please look after Floette and look after Lumiose City. Before Tawny and I reach rank A, Keisariko has promised us one wish, and now it's finally time to make it happen. The entire Team MZ makes their way over to the Centrico Plaza to fulfill our one wish, to have more Pokemon battles in Lumiose. And on the spot, Vinny implements the Infinite Royale. I explore the last Wild Zone in CA, Wild Zone 20, to see what Pokemon is all available. This Wild Zone is absolutely huge, having a bunch of Pokemon like Malamar, Hippowdon, Aggron, Lucario, and even all the Kanto starters. Now the story is over now, so what? The first task at hand is 100%ing Mabel's Pokedex. Mabel has something called Mabel's Research, but the more tasks you finish, you'll be rewarded with better items. And I'm going for level 50 to obtain the Shiny Charm, but to obtain level 50, I have to win 1000 battles. That can't be bad, right? Well, over the course of the entire Legends ZA story, I won 452 battles, and I essentially need to double that number. But thankfully there's an AFK method with a turbo controller. A turbo controller is a gaming controller where when a button is held, it will automatically input that button at lightning speeds, and in my case that would be A. Then with elastics I would hold down the ZL button so it would bring up the move menu in the battle. With A being able to sift through text and make a move, it was AFK grinding time. But not with just a random Pokemon. We need a very defensive Garchomp holding the Rocky Helmet. I head over to Restaurant Lana and the grinding begins. The whole process takes 6.5 hours to defeat the last 500 battles, not as long as I would have thought. I didn't spend much time searching for TMs during the main story, but now that the game is over, I can finally relax and get all the TMs. On the other hand, I spent some time getting colorful screws to boost gameplay, but Still, some are missing because when I first searched for colorful screws, I didn't have Rotoglide back then. So I was missing around 30 to 40 screws. And to get the super secret reward, you need to collect all 100 colorful screws. Collecting all the screws in TMs took around 3 hours. And now, time to move on to our next task, finishing Mabel's research. Though I finished the 1,000 research requests, I still was 9 levels away from earning the shiny charm. When I checked the remaining missions, there were so many catch-specific type tasks. After doing the math and research, I realized I didn't just need 15 Pokemon caught, I actually need 50 Pokemon caught of each type, all the way to the max level, minus 2 types. Only then would I finally unlock the shiny charm. So the journey started. I started catching every Pokemon, especially dual type Pokemon I could see on site, and let's just say this was a grind. Around 3 hours into this excursion, I was near the tail end of finishing, nearing one of my last requests, Dragon. I thought Scrub was poison and Dragon, but lo and behold, it's poison and water, so I wasted so much time just catching Scrubs in the sewers. At the start of catching, I bought around 300 Ultra Balls and 300 Repeat Balls, as well as having roughly 200 Pokeballs. But near the end, I had no more money, no more Pokeballs, and I was resorting to my last 30 Nest Balls. After 3 straight hours of catching Poke, I decided to take a break and knock out some easier quests, like resting on side benches with my team, relaxing at cafes, and doing a few Link Trade evolutions. Then I went straight back to catching, but here I still am, catching Scrubs. By the end of Mabel's request, I had roughly 20 straight boxes of Pokemon caught. Absolutely crazy. After finishing the game, I walked back to my room and noticed a Pokeball sitting on my desk. I picked it up only to discover that it was none other than Lumios's legendary Lucario, the partner of the great Karina herself. I couldn't help but wonder, why was this left for me? Next, I headed over to Rakeen Construction to pick up my secret gift, only to find out I'm missing 2 colorful screws. Then the realization hit me immediately. I have to do the entire screw hunt for a 3rd time, and honestly, that hurt my soul a little. After managing to find the final 2 screws, I finally claimed my well-deserved prize, which was a gigantic cannery plush delivered personally to my room. Then I made my way over to the Infinite Royale at Quesadico. It might not seem like much at first. In the Infinite Royale, hitting 15 to 20 consecutive wins earns you something very special. The first trainer I faced was Zach, the Z Eternal himself, with his measly little team. After clearing the Infinite Royale once, I get a call from Lita telling me to come back to Hotel Z immediately, because L was waiting. L rambles on about AZ's life and whether AZ's actions were moral. After returning to Lysander's lab with Zygarde 10% form, L remembers more of his memories, a Pokemon related one this time, the one that gives and the one that takes. He wants me to go out and catch these Pokemon before any more danger ensues in Lumiose. After winning my 15th straight battle against Tawny, Emma suddenly shows up and tells Tawny that her ever-so-lasting secret memory has been solved, and she needs to stop by Quesadico immediately. Curious, I tag along, and right off the jump, Emma asks if the jacket was gifted by her mother, and Tawny quickly confirms. Jet quickly chimes in, mentioned that the jacket she's wearing originally belonged to her mother, and Jet was the one who gifted it to her mother. Then, the moment of realization finally hits him, and Jet is Tawny's grandmother. Tawny knew that her mother was related to Lumiose somehow, but nothing more. Jet and Tawny's mother worked to build up Quesadico, however with heavy disagreements on the future of Quesadico, Tawny's mother left, and joined Team Flare and cut all ties with Jet. Jet asked for one request, to transfer the ownership of Quesadico from Jet to Tawny, just like how Jet planned to do with Tawny's mother. Now with Tawny's hand completely full, taking over Hotel Z as well as Quesadico, Tawny hands me over Eternal Floette and its Megastone. After grinding to 20 straight wins, I get a call from Jantine to stop by the hotel. Jantine hosts none other than the Jantine Super Tournoi de Jantine O, where I need to face off against 5 Jantines to win the tournament. My ex-control was able to handle all of Jantine's teams, with her Pokemon being Carbink, Mawile, Gardevoir, Aurora, Sylveon, and Clefable. The one thing I wish was that Jantine had 5 unique teams for all 5 battles, but instead, she had all the same teams, which was a little disappointing to me. After the battle, I finally finished the last mystery side quest of legendsza, and the victor of Jantine's Super Tournoi de Jantine O going to me. With the side quest, you do get 300,000 Pokédollars, which is a massive W. With the battling from Infinite Royale finally finished, I decided to finish the remaining side quests. Honestly, there were some very difficult ones, like a Furfrou only Elite Four battle in Champion, and win 10 straight back-to-back battle side quests, or even a Pikachu only battle. The Pikachu only battle was fun because it was a matter of who can press dig second wins, and by perfectly timing my digs, I managed to easily win. With 25 hours left, what better way to spend 20 of them than AFK shiny hunting? I used the same turbo method from the 1000 battle scribe, but instead of using the elastic on ZL, I used the elastic on the analog stick to go down. In ZA, Pokemon spawn at a 50-meter radius of your character in all directions, X, Y, or Z, and if you exit that 50 meters, Pokemon will despawn, or you can use the bench to reset spawns, similar to the picnic mechanic in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. So if there's a bench within 50 meters of your favorite Pokemon, you'll be able to AFK shiny hunt it. And thank God there's a bench between me and my favorite shiny Pokemon ever, Shiny Fennekin. So I started AFKing. And after many shinies surrounding Fennekin and after many hours, I finally found it. Shiny Fennekin. And speaking of shinies, drop your Discord on what Pokemon you want in the comment section and join the Discord server, and I'll be giving out free shinies for everyone. I hear raging from the other side of the room. Summoning my courage, I turn the corner to speak to her, and the moment she starts talking to me, she's as sweet and composed as ever. I was tasked with some anomalous alpha Pokemon in Wild Zone 3, 5, and 9, and I effortlessly head back to Mabel's office. After Mabel completes her research, she notifies me that Xerneas is in Wild Zone 11, and I ought to go catch it. I make my way over to Wild Zone 11, but there was no Xerneas to be found until I tried to catch Xerneas with some Premier Balls, and I took the Xerneas down fully thanks to my Mega Extra Drills Iron Head and caught it with one Ultra Ball. Then we catch Yveltal. I head straight to Nouveau Cafe to talk to Grisham and Griselle, and they tell me to meet them in the Quesadico building. Back in the day, Yveltal took out all of Team Flare in its dormant state, so you can imagine how strong it is when it's fully awake. To train for Yveltal's true awakened state, Team Flare and Quesadico created a device to fight rogue Mega Evolution Pokemon, and to prove my strengths as a trainer against the deadly evil bird, I had to fight rogue Tyranitar, Hawlucha, and Victory Bell again. My Glaceon handles Victory Bell, Heracross handles Tyranitar, and Gardevoir handles Hawlucha, and I managed to take each of them down fairly easily. After I finished fighting all the rogue Pokemon, more reports came out that Yveltal will be headed towards the Rouge District, Galère de la Lune. I head straight there, and lo and behold, Yveltal. And after one attempt of failing to catch this evil bird, I managed to catch it with a Dusk Ball. As I fly back to Hotel Z to relax a little after a long day, Elle shows up and explains even though I have the Pokemon for life and death, that is not enough, and I need to find the one that will balance the world, and challenge me to a battle. I easily take down his whole team, thanks to my whole team being fully EV trained and almost max level. After a battle, Zygarde shows up once more and runs straight under the Prism Tower to ask me for a battle, and so it begins. The final rogue battle of Legends ZA, Zygarde. But thanks to my Glaceon, I easily take down Zygarde 10% form, but as I do, Zygarde transforms into its 50% form, and I wipe on the first attempt of Zygarde 50% form. We run the same strategy back, but this time I'm a lot more careful with my players' movements, while my Glaceon is shooting off quite effective Ice Beams and Freeze Dries. I managed to dodge Zygarde's attack that wiped me out a few minutes ago, and not long after, Glaceon takes down its 50% form. And now, Zygarde finally evolves into its complete form, where, just like the other times, my Glaceon is melting the Zygarde. However, Zygarde pulls some lasers out and writes Z on the ground, and creating explosions on the ground with his move Core Enforcer. I get hit by a laser, and now I'm one hit away from being whited out again. Somehow, I dodge a large explosion afterwards, and take note of the safe spot of the explosion for the next time. Glaceon chips down Zygarde as I stand far away from the complete core, trying to heal my character as much as possible and before he throws his Core Enforcer move at me. This time, he hits me with the Core Enforcer again, and I get hit by the laser again, leaving me on one hit before death. But thankfully, I remember the safe spot for the explosion and manage to survive. As Zygarde's trying to take me down with 1000 arrows and 1000 waves, I safely maneuver my way out while Glaceon lands a super effective Ice Beam, taking Zygarde down and catching Zygarde with the Premier Ball. Elle walks to congratulate me and hands me the Core Enforcer, which will turn Zygarde into its 10% form into its 50% form. And just like that, the whole story is over. I obtained the DNC Knight through a mystery gift, which unlocks the next side quest and final side quest, Catch DNC. After many failed attempts because DNC has a very low catch rate, I finally catch DNC, and that means that is the end of all the side quests. For the last hour, I replay some rogue mega battles and go on a huge shopping spree all around the districts in Lumios, spending nearly 3 million Pokédollars on clothing. And just like that, the 100-hour series is finished. Thank you so much for watching my journey. If you enjoyed watching, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more content. I'll be releasing a lot more ROM hack, ZA, and competitive content over the coming few months, so stay tuned. Next week at the same time, I'll be posting my I 100% of the ZA DLC, so watch out for that. Until next time, peace.